Have you ever found yourself having the same conversation with the same person over and over again? You ask, have I told you this before in the middle of every story you tell? I have a story. I forget the beginning. I think I've only become a part of it somewhere along the way. By the way, my name is Gord, but don't worry, that's not important. It's not something you'll need to remember. So then, where was I? Oh yeah, there was Vita and Rollo, and then there was me. We were friends. We weren't happy with the way our lives had ended up, and we wanted to make certain changes. Have I told you this before?
They were nice clothes, but they weren't very nice on him.
When I slip into your clothes, when I wear your shoes, your face, I'm free.
Brushing the toast crumbs from your bed. I hope you realise that while you were away I lay there, wide-eyed, smearing jam on the pillows, depositing stagnant teacups under the bed, the smell of my hair amongst the sheets, when you climb in, expecting the freshness of cool virginal sheets, will you sense the movement of limbs, engaged in sleep, dreaming your days.
I used to climb trees. I used to run very fast through fields for no reason, with nowhere to go and nowhere I had to be. I used to be able to look up into the night sky and name every star and constellation I could see. Now the city lights blot out the stars, and I can't see any of them. I want to go to the country, get away from the city, exchange this grey for green. I look at my reflection now and I don't recognise myself. I see a million people just like me.
He dreams of water. I've watched him, fish-like, in the mists of flailing sleep, gasping for air, wrestling with a nylon line, a silver hook attached to the worm he ate without thinking. He awakes to the dampness of dismembered sheets, cast aside by the frantic motion of invisible fins. A sea spray of sweat clusters above his temples, a trail of dribble leaves silk circle stained on the case of each pillow. Gord is the man from Atlantis, the fisherman's son.
Gord took off his shoes. He held one in each hand and he waded out into the inches deep centre of the lake, where I'd assumed he'd gone to do himself in. And he sat down. The water barely came up to his knees, and he looked really pathetic. And he cried. Tears that shook his body, screwed up his face, shook his hair around.
I went down to the lake. I wanted to soak my feet in the water without removing my shoes like I used to when I had the time. Soaking my feet in the water and soaking the legs of my trousers. I've suddenly realised that there was something missing in my relationship with my mum and dad. I've always hated the name Gord to the extent that as a child I virtually had a phobia about saying the name they gave me, and this has made me self-conscious and now I feel displaced. I love football and I am attracted to the opposite sex. That is so conventional and I try so hard to be unconventional. Maybe it's only when I'm not trying and I am me that I will find my place. Where does the name Gord come from? I'm afraid if I tell you, you'll be disappointed, like the dull punchline after the long, gripping story. I can tell you it's something close to my heart, and is a constant source of discomfort for me.
The seaweed is the only nautical substance that Gord will allow himself to eat. As children we taunt him with a pink of prawn cocktail crisps. Our parents are the kind of people who always promise their children that they'll teach them how to fish, and never do. And then it's too late, and you're out on your own in the real world. Perhaps the family secret is they simply don't know how.
Gord's fish tank was thick with dead and dying fish. The heater was faulty and the cold water had killed them all. We had no choice, Rollo and I. We had to replace them. At the death of a fish, Gord grieved too deeply, feeling each loss. I find it hard to cry for the life of a fish. When the new fish died and we couldn't pump the air back into their tiny gills, Gord arrived home unexpected and discovered their watery grave. Surprisingly, he was pragmatic about their deaths, urging us to go. On the way out, I lingered in the bathroom as Rollo closed the door.
When you asked me how I was, I said I was okay. But I lied. I'm not okay. When you went to the bathroom, I thought you'd left the house, and I began to cry uncontrollably. Rollo told me later that you watched me through a crack in the door and learnt more about me in those moments than in the years we had spent together.
Watching Gord's private tears, Vita felt helpless. The secret is kept in the freezer of his chest, and she can't open it. Not without asking, and that's not her way. So Vita decides to learn how to fish, and this only the fisherman can teach her.